everybody. Welcome to Quickie with Miss B. I'm so glad that you're back with us for another week. Today is blah blah Monday.
Blah Day Monday.
All this week we're going to be talking about getting to know you. Those strange, weird, interesting questions that I don't know if you've ever ran into any of these. So you'll have to stick around and listen to the questions that we throw out there. Some of them are very interesting questions.
Yeah.
And I can't believe that there's people out there that actually have asked these questions in conversations of actually getting to know a person, either on a friendship level or romantic level. So, today's Monday. Wow. So, the first one I thought we'd talk about, which I thought was kind of funny, because I've never asked this question. Not from a point of interest to getting to know me, but this question is, what shoe size are you?
What's odd is I've been asked that before.
You have?
Yeah. But I have big feet, so I mean, every once in a while, you'll be sitting there talking to them, and they go, "Wow, what size shoe is that?" The 13 triple E or a 13 double E. They'll go, "Really? Yeah. Wow, that's a big foot." And you're like, "Yeah, it's a big foot."
Well, it's not something that you think about every single day. And how many times do you look at people's feet and check them out and go, "Hey, check out that potential shoe size"?
It's like, what size ankle do you have? What? What size are your ankle? What? Well, if you went and bought a chain, what size chain would your ankle? I mean, that's like one of those weird questions.
At least they're not talking kinkles.
What size is your? It's one.
It's a one size fits all.
There you go.
I just want to know though too. When you think about who determines a shoe size? How did that get started?
They just needed some measurement to know how large the shoe was going to be. You got to have a length. You got to have a width. You got to have, some people have arches in different places and all. When I was at Men's Warehouse, I sold shoes, so I learned how to use a shoe machine. It's just a little flat piece you stand on. We slide it forward so we can see where your big toe falls.
Yeah.
All right. And that way we got plenty of room in there. Now, kids, obviously, they're growing, so, you're going to leave more room. Then we got to slide this little thing where your arch is, so we can put your arch right in the position there. And then we're going to do your width, close it around the left side and right side till we get your width. All right? Now, some people are double E's or triple E's, Fred Flintstone feet like I have.
Who thought of that? I mean, okay, obviously they have to have a
the people who make the shoes, because people are probably sick and tired of going, ugh, 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 you messed them up again. Why can't you make a decent pair of shoes that fit me? Here's my foot. Bam, and they're like, well, I got to have some sort of unit of measure. I got to have something to go by, You're 25 shells long and 3 shells wide, or 4. I got to have something, The shells keep being different sizes, so why don't I just go ahead and we'll make a unit of measure? We'll call this a 4 UGG shoe, and this is a 5 UGG shoe, and something.
I just find it so weird.
Gotta have something to go by.
I think the only people that really would ask that question, what's your shoe size, would be people who have a foot fetish.
Oh wow! now you're scared, but now you're scaring me, because I've been asked that by girls, and I have had a couple guys go, "What size shoe do you wear?" That means there were guys and gals who had foot no problems that were eyeballing my tootsies. Are you kidding me? You're messing with my brain now.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, now you're freaking me out.
Well, it's not every day that you're looking down at the ground at people's feet and analyzing what shoe size that they are. The only time I think that would happen is if you have a foot fetish.
Maybe. Oh, wow. See, now you got me all messed up now. Now I'm thinking I've had people up by and go, "Hey, what size shoe is that?"
They were just trying to determine what size big toe that you
Oh my.
Okay, never mind. Let's go on to the next question. Do you ever get the question of how many pairs of shoes do you own?
Actually, yes. My current girl has actually asked me that question before. She's like, one day she was like, looking at my I have my New Balance shoes. You know, I'm a guy, so I've had them for like, I don't know, a long time, and they still tied. You know what I mean? And they were white-ish. You know, they were sneakers. There was a lot of cracking lines all over and all that. And I think my toe might have been out the end. And she was like, quick question, what? How many pairs of shoes do you have, John? I'm like, well, I have the slippers, and I have like 4 pairs of boots. You know, I have work boots. I have this boot. I have water boots. I have lots of pairs of boots. She says, how many pairs of shoes do you own, John? And I'm like, do boots count? Get rid of the boots. Pull them out of there. How many pairs of shoes do you have that I might be seen with you in? And it's like, this pair? Okay, that needs to be fixed. Stat.
I was just gonna say she probably dragged you right to the shoe store after that.
This needs to be fixed ASAP.
Right now.
So I went down to, I'll be honest, I went down to Walmart and I got a new pair of shoes. Took a picture of them and sent them to her, and she was just letting me know that was a good start, but those weren't shoes. So apparently, apparently the whole, $22 shoes is not a winning combination.
And on that note, we need to take a break. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to A Quickie with Miss B. If you missed the first half of the episode and you want to know shoe size, go back and check that out. All this week, the topic is getting to know you. Those weird, strange questions that people ask when you're building a friendship or a relationship.
Or you're just a weirdo.
Yep. That's one question that Eric's never asked is how many pairs of shoes do I own?
He's not stupid. You might count them and then go, you know what? 4 less than I thought. More. 4 less than I thought I'd own at this age. So let's fix that.
36. Oh, I need to round up to 40.
Yeah. 40 is easier in number. It's easier to spell. It's easier to divide into shelves. Yeah, I'm going to need to up that up. But yeah.
I just found a pair of shoes that I forgot that I bought 2 years ago.
See, that's the problem with girls. That's the problem. See, me, I've got, my pair of shoes. I have work boots, but as far as the sneaker world goes, I have my pair of sneakers.
Well, I have boots too. I got my winter boots and my boots for spring, my rubber boots, whatever you want to call them, and then my dress boots for work. What do you call those big rubber boots? The ones that come up to your knees that you can.
Rubbers.
Is it rubbers?
That's what when I grew up. That's what when your grandmother looked at a boy and said, "Put your rubbers on," she was talking about your boots. Make sure you boys put your rubbers on. Meant, put your boots on. It's exactly what she meant.
I think my stepsister, because there was one point in time where she lived somewhere in England, and when she came over here, she called them willies or woolies or something.
Willies, yeah. Put your willies on.
I'm like, what? Who? Is he coming with us?
Will he have a rubber on?
Yeah.
Will he have his rubbers on? Yeah. So.
That could be disastrous.
To hear your mother, to hear your grandmother yell out, You kids better put your rubbers on and your slickers. And you're like, what? What? My slicker and my rubbers? What? But yeah, your
Were those ones that went over your shoes too?
No. Slickers are just. It's a rain jacket.
Okay.
It's a slicker. It's your rain
I didn't know
jacket.
that rain jackets were called slickers. I just thought they were raincoats.
Well, your rain boots. All right, you have your yellow ones. All right, those are the ones that they usually meant for work. Yellow and white were meant for work. And then you had your green ones. Or you had for the girls your pink ones or whatever. Those were your rubbers. Those are the ones you wore to school. You know what I mean? You're like, don't forget to wear your rubbers. You know what I mean? You kids better have your slickers on, or I'm telling you. And you're like, wow.
I had flowered rubbers. I remember that when I was a kid.
Yeah. Better have your rubbers on. That now, and also when it was cold outside and she didn't have your winter boots out yet, she'd have you wear your rubbers with sacks in them. Make sure you put sacks in there. And you're like, they're right in the top drawer, because my grandmother cleaned out every bread sack she ever had, because she was Great Depressing. So every single bag, plastic bag, whatever, found a home. And there was always, in a lovely home, you could have a house that was worth $8 million. And you go, how old is your grandma? Where's the drawer? What? Where's the drawer? Where's the drawer? And there's a drawer that has, you can't hardly get it open. And when you do get it open, it's like every bag in the planet is in. You're like, I don't know, dude. There's a can of bacon grease on the stove. She won't stop. She just won't stop. And you can buy her oil. You can buy, and the minute you make bacon, don't you throw that away. Don't you throw that away. You're like, Grandma, we have the bacon grease from my 5th birthday. I'm 36. I'm 36.
It's still good in her mind.
You kids have no ability to understand what it's like to go without. You're worth $9 million. You're not going without. Put your slicker on and make sure you put the rubbers down. Put your rubber. I want bags in those rubbers. Grandma, I don't need to wear bread sacks. Please don't make me wear bread sacks.
That leads me to my next question. Have you ever gotten asked, what color socks are you wearing?
I told you about that lady who married 7 times and she picked all her husbands by her socks. Yeah. So we know one thing for sure, it doesn't work. For some reason, she felt it was the best failure she could have, so she went with it.
Yeah.
I have, now, being as I sold socks, I have had a lot of people, because when I was in a suit, I always grabbed down by my knees and you pull your slacks up a little bit and you sit down, so your socks are right there. And if I had on anything like smiley faces or whatever, they always were commented. And then by default, the guy would go, oh, here's his wife comes in to see what he got. He'd say, show her your socks. So, yeah. So, by default, I have been asked that a lot.
I don't think I've ever gotten asked that. Because, back in the day, we really didn't wear socks. It was mostly nylons. But there was one really weird story about that. We got into conversation. Well, I didn't, but my friend at the time, she was hosting a party for somebody's birthday at her house, and everybody was comparing their nylons.
Really?
who had the best pair of nylons, which ones were resistant to, runs, and, making sure that your toe didn't poke out. And this was a real conversation for a whole entire hour.
Wow.
So that I thought was pretty weird. And on that note, we need to go. Come back tomorrow and we'll talk some more about getting to know you.